I refused to give up my front row spot at a concert to someone claiming to be disabled. A couple of weeks ago, I traveled to another country to see an artist I've been a fan of for 6 years. This was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me, and I'd been waiting months for it. I sacrificed a lot, financially and mentally, to make it happen. Since it was my first, and probably only time seeing them, I went all out. I bought GA tickets and arrived at the queue at 5 a.m., even though doors wouldn't open until around 6:30, 7 p.m., in freezing cold weather. I waited all day, hungry, cold, and dehydrated. But it was worth it, because when the doors finally opened, I secured a front row barricade spot, right up against the stage. It was my dream spot. Not long after, a guy behind me tapped me on the shoulder and told me he was disabled. He said the venue was supposed to let disabled attendees in early, but they hadn't. He asked me to give him my spot at the barricade. Here's the thing. I know this venue is usually very accommodating for disabled attendees. I actually have friends with disabilities who've been to shows here, and the staff always make sure they get to the front safely during a designated early entry window before it gets too crowded. Also, I'm a very short person, 155 centimeters, 5'1", and this guy was extremely tall, easily over 6'5". If I gave up my spot, I wouldn't be able to see anything at all. He would have completely blocked my view. I honestly would have been willing to move if he wasn't so tall, or if I could still see from the second row. But in this case, I knew I'd lose the view I had waited more than 10 hours for. I tried to compromise. I pointed out that the right side of the barricade was still open and suggested he go there. Since he's so tall, he'd still have a great view and could hold onto the rail for support, but he refused, saying the view wasn't as good as where I was. While we were talking, that section filled up, and he became more insistent. He said he'd have a hard time if he couldn't take my spot. At this point, I got frustrated and explained. If his disability was that serious, he should be in the accessible section, which is specifically designed for disabled attendees. If he insisted on being in the standing section, he should have brought a support aid like a cane. I'd seen someone nearby with one. If he spoke to security, they could escort him to the front row disabled seating, which has a fantastic view and is far more accommodating. After hearing this, he called me an asshole, told me to get fucked, and left.